I wouldn't say we're just me today. Solo dolo, moneyline Mike. No Unk, no Hot Hand, no Mo. They all abandoned me for this one. As we have UFC Atlanta, a fight night between former champion Usman and up-and-comer Joaquin Buckley. So I'm gonna run through it here. Try to make it quick for you guys. This is filmed on Thursday, so we're gonna watch some PFL tonight. And try to get you some reads here by myself. Try to make it a bit shorter than usual. That being said, let's hop into the first fight. We have Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Jamie Lynn Horth. Demopoulos in here on short notice. We have wide lines here. Typical fight night, opening fight. I just think Horth's grappling and overall well-roundedness is going to be too much for Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos has some pressure that might get her maybe around on the cards. I wouldn't bank on it. But when I think of this fight, I just think of Vanessa Demopoulos being outworked by Jamie Lynn Horth, who already had a camp. I think she could easily get a decision victory here. I don't know if you want to play around with any type of finishes, as Vanessa Demopoulos only has been finished one time in her professional career in an armbar by Jacqueline Amorim, who has extremely high level jiu-jitsu, world class. So I don't know how you want to play that. Probably going to be Jamie Lynn Horth by decision, but even then you're talking minus 250, minus 200 range. It's a pass situation for me here. I haven't really found a spot that I love this first fight. Everything's a bit juiced. Even when you play around with the minute props or second props, you're still getting minus 200, minus 300 lines on this fight. So maybe a parlay piece. I think Jamie Lynn Horth handles it. You can get her minus 300 on a parlay piece. I think it's respectable, but I'll probably pass on the first fight. Then we'll go to the second bout of the night. We have Loosa versus Philip Rowe. So, this is an interesting fight. When I was looking at the lines earlier this week, Phil Rowe, lengthy striker, tall here, and then Loosa, very athletic, big guy, looking for takedowns and make this grinding cage fight. I think I see a lot of people on Phil Rowe here in this spot, and I would say he has the finishing upside and the sharper striking for sure. Definitely more technical of a fighter. When you look here, I just don't know if he's going to be able to stop the constant pressure of Loosa enough to win two rounds out of 3 if he doesn't get the finish, which I don't know if he will. Loosa, great grappling. Well, I guess aggressive grappling. He's going to get Philip Rowe down, so I think maybe a takedown prop. I haven't seen lines on those yet for this fight, but that might be an angle you want to look at. Philip Rowe, if you look at the finish only money lines and stuff like that, he's the big favorite, minus 250, minus 240 on the knockout only or finish only lines. They think he has the finishing upside. I was going to look earlier this week. I was targeting the Philip Rowe spread. Ends up being one of the most juiced spreads I think I've seen in a while. Plus 3.5 is minus 245. I think that is a safe play though. You get covered as a nice parlay piece. I wouldn't fault you for taking a Philip Rowe knockout. Well, you're getting odds around, let's see here, around plus 500, probably higher on some books. That's a DraftKings line right there. Probably get around plus 600, so that's nice. A nice lotto piece if you can find the chin of Loosa, who gets a little crazy and out there and gasses a bit. He might be able to pin him down with shots. But my official prediction here, and I don't love it, is Loosa by decision. I think it'll be a hard-fought battle. It all depends on how the judges are going to score this grappling versus striker approach. Maybe if Loosa doesn't do much damage, get Phil Rowe. Might be a split decision bout. Didn't think about that right now, but if you look and you want to look into more of a lotto Like, if you're looking at the split decision lines, plus 900 for Filion to win by split decision if he gets more strikes in the round but gets taken down. Where Angelus is winning by split decision, plus 500. Both valid looks. You can bet on both of them and probably make out if you think it's really going to go that way, which I think is highly likely. But yeah, Angelus by decision is going to be my official prediction here, but I don't love it. We'll go over to a fight that's more recent. Not a lot of lines out for this one yet. We got Ricky Simón versus Cameron Smotherman. Smotherman had some troubles in his last bout against Series City. We actually had Smotherman as our dog of the card. We thought he'd find the chin. He looked very small in there. He looked flustered, was getting taken down. So I don't really see how he deals with Ricky Simón other than trying to be more technical than him. Ricky Simón's going to come at him, shoot a plethora of takedown attempts. He looked, I don't know about this under 2.5 line I've been looking at. He is crazy in terms of his overall approach. But you're looking at over 2.5 at plus money. That might be an angle. I don't know if I'm playing it yet. Still have to tape this fight a little bit on the side of Cameron Smotherman to refresh my memory. But dog or pass for me. I don't think Cameron Smotherman gets it done, but I'm not paying minus 500 for Ricky Simón. You'd probably take the over 2.5 if you're feeling some type of way, if he's going to wrestle his way through it. If you look at Ricky Simón's overall history in his 27 professional fights, 13 of them have gone the distance, so just under half of them. And he has, in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 fights, his last 4 fights, he has 2 decisions. Yeah, Vinicius Oliveira went to decision with him, who's a very talented striker. And Mario Bautista, look what he did to Patsy Mix. I know that he's a decision type of merchant, but 2 strong opponents compared to Cameron Smotherman. I like Ricky Simón here. I think he's going to get the W. Maybe by decision. I haven't really seen that yet. Let me see if they have any lines up since I checked last on that. Yeah, they... Wait, do they have some? Where we at? No, I just see over and unders. The over, you can look at plus money, like I said before, and then maybe Ricky Simón by decision, which will be my official prediction. I think Cameron Smotherman might be able to improve slightly. Even though he's on short notice, I think he's going to get out-grappled, might be able to go the distance, but not a lot of hope there. Ricky Simón's the play, but he's pretty steep at minus 400. But we'll move on to the next bout. We got Jose Ochoa taking on Cody Durden. Saw Durden last week on Matty Bet's podcast, yapping it up a bit. Just fighting the young 24-year-old Jose Ochoa, who lost in his last bout a unanimous decision to name slipping my mind, young Kavanaugh. Yeah, where he got controlled. Kavanaugh's a good upcoming prospect. And Ochoa's still young, 7-1. That was his only decision of his career, coming out of Shootbox Diego Lima and Cody Durden on the side of American Top Team. It's just overall, can Cody Durden maintain tank against a guy like Ochoa? I know he's going to be able to get to his wrestling. He might be able to get some takedowns in there. Would be curious on a takedown prop for him too. But Jose Ochoa with a dangerous guard. He's, like I said, shootbox to Diego Lima, typical product. He's aggressive. He's attacking at all times. He has good kicks at range. I think he has a lot going for him. And though I do think Cody Durden still has some life left in him, he has been getting his chin touched up in his last few bouts to a worrying degree. And against a guy who hasn't gone the distance in every fight besides one, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here. I was looking at the under 2.5 at plus money, plus 104 here on FanDuel, as I think that Jose Ochoa might be able to get a finish here, but I don't want to commit on the 24-year-old. I think Cody Durden's more than capable on the ground. Sometimes he might be able to slip something in. But that's a nice angle at those odds if you're getting to the plus numbers. I'd probably take that up to like minus 110. I wouldn't start pushing minus 125, minus 135. But I think Jose Ochoa gets it done. I'm probably going to say by knockout just because Durden's chin, although he is durable, he has been shown to start gassing after the first round, even late in the first round after his wrestling, and then being vulnerable to strikes in exchanges. And he still connects in those exchanges. Against Josh Van, you can see him getting pieced up on the feet, but he was still landing some decent shots. Josh Van, you can see how he's launching his way up the rankings. So my official prediction is going to be Jose Ochoa by knockout, I believe. Under 2.5, probably my value pick there. You don't want to. The 10-year age difference here is just a lot. I just don't think. I don't think Cody Durden's gonna be able to overcome it. It's his last fight on his contract though, so that might be in play as a reasoning to back him here. I see a lot of people backing him as a dog, and on Tapology he's 64% because Ochoa still is somewhat unproven. So another under I'm looking at here for a finish, and I'm gonna take Cody Durden to get it done. Now over to one of the most ridiculous lines that I have seen in a while. We look at Malcolm Wellmaker taking on Chris Moutinho, who's back in the UFC, the human heavy bag. And I won't spend too much time on this. I think Wellmaker will knock out Moutinho. I'm a believer now after seeing that Cameron Simon knockout. I was on Cameron Simon on record, I will say. I thought that he'd be able to use his durability and volume and well-roundedness to be able to get a decision win. But he didn't get to employ any of that because his chin got detonated. And I think Moutinho is going to end up getting knocked out. It's just, if the over 1.5, under 1.5, you want to play around with that. I don't think this fight goes to the third round. So if you want to look at maybe, let's see, at a round 3 not to start prop, that may be in order on FanDuel. Minus 300 on FanDuel. I want to just take the under 1.5 at minus 160. But you're going after a walking zombie in Chris Moutinho, who's been getting some wins against, I guess, really bad competition outside the UFC. But minus 1400, obviously too far for me. Wellmaker by knockout minus 230. Maybe you can play around with the points, but Wellmaker's probably gonna get the finish here pretty early, within the first 7.5 minutes. You can probably play that round 3 not to start as a parlay piece, but I won't stay too much on this bout. We have Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. And it's just Michael Chiesa at minus 375, minus 350, whatever you're getting it at on your book. It just doesn't ever stand out to me as something that I want to do, or something that would be a smart investment or a betting decision. For the purpose of picks in general, I'll probably lean with Chiesa against Court McGee, but this line is out of control. I just think it's ridiculous how you're going to have to pay upwards of almost minus 400 for a Michael Chiesa fight. I'm trying to look at maybe the sub line, but Court McGee isn't a slouch on the ground either. He's more than capable of controlling himself. Plus 210 for the submission. The points is the most likely outcome. You're looking at the round props. Over 2.5, almost minus 200. Do these old guys go the distance? It's probably the way you're gonna want to attack this. And if you're looking at Michael Chiesa's recent fights, 25 career fights. Rear naked in his last two. Darce choke against Kevin Holland, loss. So his last three is coming via sub, either win or loss. But Max Griffin and Tony Ferguson aren't really jumping off the screen to me right now. He went to decision with Sean Brady, but he's pretty much a decision merchant. Vicente Luque loss. So a lot of these fights are ending inside the distance. Then over on the side of Court McGee with 35 professional fights, 40 years old. Chess is not no spring chicken either. I think he's 37 or 38. But Tim Means, Alex Morano, even he's lost by a sub recently. He won by sub neck crank. Even you're looking at his last 1, 2, 3, 4 fights. 4 fights, 3 of them are by finish, either losing or winning. But they're ending inside the distance. He did go to decision with Ramiz Brahimaj. I think I just watched that fight recently. So that kind of stands out to me as Brahimaj with his slick submission game, not being able to snatch up Port McGee's neck. It's not really boding well for Michael Chiesa. That makes me like this over a little bit more. I'm going to lean with... I don't even know. I might have to lean with Court McGee after all that's being said. I'm not going to play it. I just think that it's closer than these odds. Maybe, let's see how we're looking at a Court McGee spread. If you're looking at DraftKings, I'm opening up right now. If we look at the alternate spread lines or the regular spread lines, plus 3.5 for Court McGee is plus 110. I think that's a very playable line. I think he may be able to steal around. I don't know how far apart Chiesa and him are in terms of skill. Chiesa definitely has the edge, but I don't think that it's overwhelming to be minus 400 favorite. It's standing out Tapology. Chiesa's huge favorite. I don't know. Chiesa is probably more marketable than Court McGee. Court is probably the retirement value. You probably get 1 or 2 more out of Chiesa. Chiesa will probably win a decision, but it's going to be close. I'd probably take Court McGee plus 7.5. And if you want to play around, actually, Court McGee plus 7.5 to the plus 3.5. Minus 145. Plus 7.5. So 1 round on 1 card, which is very manageable with 2 old guys brawling like this. Especially if you're going to a decision with a guy like Ramiz Brahimaj, who's that aged well. And he got the W there, so I could take the old Court McGee to steal a round off Michael Chiesa here if he doesn't get finished. Now we'll go to a bout that we already covered before, Rodolfo Bellato versus Paul Craig. Bellato had to pull out the last bout, I believe, because of a herpes case or something. Very last second was the co-main event of that card. I'm glad it's not the co-main event here. Not much to say rather than that I've already said. You can go back and listen to that if you want to, but Paul Craig, you already know his submission game is what his path to victory is here. Rodolfo Bellato coming off a draw to Jimmy Crute. I had Jimmy Crute on that fight, so we got the money back on the push. Jimmy Crute almost finished him, and then Bellato won the next 2 rounds, and we got a draw. Paul Craig loses to Bo Nickel, which wasn't a bad loss for him. I think the round 2 to start. Let's see how that line's looking now, if it's anything remotely close to when we last were looking at it. Round 2 to start, yes, minus 192. I think it was like minus 150, minus 160 range before. That's a way to look at it, maybe as a parlay piece, minus 190. Over 1.5 is pick'em odds. I'd probably lean towards the over on that one, unless Bellato knocks him out immediately. But I think Paul Craig might be able to clinch or control his way to not get finished immediately. I don't. That's probably the only way I can attack this fight. Bellato's probably going to win. But Paul Craig, I feel like you have to put in a mandatory Paul Craig submission just to cover your ass because, once he hits that mat, he can beat anyone. I'm not staying on this fight for long. We're going to move over. That was the end of the preliminary card. We're going to head into the main card. But before we move on, I just want to point out this video is brought to you by Fade Factory Discord, free Discord, and then we have our MMA Gems community within the free Discord, which is our premium service. $10 a month, $25 for 3 months. If you don't profit from tailing our specific signal gems, taking them how we take them, you'll get the next month of your subscription on us free to get back. We haven't had to do that yet. To me, Unk MMA, Hot Hand MMA, and we dropped some heat in there. We just off of a really profitable card last week. Thousands of dollars made for our members. Some of the bets I want to highlight: Wang by decision. What else do I want to point out? We had Gustafsson decision only money line at plus 165 as one of a big play. We had a plus 700 parlay with the likes of Medeiros, soul killed by decision, double chance, I believe, and then we had our hammer, our lock of the card, well, my lock of the card at least, hammered we had round 3 not to start, minus 140 in the U versus Sergey fight. That one smacked for us, so there was a lot of money being made. And we have PFL in there too, Cage Warriors, not just UFC. BKFC, some boxing when we have a chance. So we look at a bunch of different combat sports. And for $10 a month, you got people over here charging $100 a month. You got people charging $100 a fight card, $100 a fight. This is measly, paying like, what, couple cents a fight in reality. And you're making your subscription back in the first card. It's a no-brainer. You get an extended month if you don't get it. Even if you don't want to pay, head over to Fade Factory. Cover all sports. Me, myself, just had a huge win today in the U.S. Open. Fade and Rory McIlroy on our hammer play. And we're just trying to get everyone money. We're not trying to grift. All of our numbers are third-party tracked, picket. Everything we do is legit. But with that being said, we'll head over to the main card. We got Alonzo Menifield versus Umar C. Menifield here. He was one of our big plays recently. Well, not recently, but in his last bout, where he took on a newcomer, Julius Walker. He opened up at around minus 140, minus 150, and we hammered that immediately. The line ended up jumping and moving within almost to the minus 3s by the fight time. Hammered that. Amar C coming into this bout 11-0, undefeated prospect from France. And he's coming off a win against Da Woon Jung, September 2024. He was a huge favorite in that bout, just around the same he was here. He beat Tuko Tokos. Besides that, you're not really seeing any extremely high-level competition in his resume, but I'm not going to say Alonzo Menifield's extremely high level. I think he is able to last somewhat. If you're looking at Menifield's fights, he's only been in decision 5 out of his 22 professional bouts, while C has been there 3 times out of 11. These guys, do look for finishes. I was going to try to make the point that Alonzo Menifield's a durable guy. He has been finished by knockout 3 times in his career. Azamat Mirzakhanov and Carlos Ulberg being 2 of them, so I can't even really fault him for those knockouts. I think this fight's going to go longer than most people see. I don't think Amar C is an insane prospect by any means. And I'm not paying upwards of minus 800, minus 700 for him. I think those odds are out of whack. You could probably play him with if you take Umar C and maybe round 2 to start, you're getting a minus 165. So round 2 to start in itself, minus 235 isn't a bad parlay piece. But that part, if you take those together, you're getting minus 165. That's on FanDuel. So most of the time, you get better odds if you're switching around on DraftKings with the minute props if they're available for you. So I'm gonna take that here, C and the next round to start. You're minus 150 here. I think Alonzo Menifield can last one round. He's only ever gotten finished in the first round one time. One time. So, and that was to Carlos Ulberg, who is probably going to fight for a belt pretty soon. So, unless MRC's coming out here with some insane knockout strike, which you don't know how Alonzo Menifield's been training. He is coming off that victory, but his career hasn't been as high as a lot of people thought it was going to be coming into the organization. And the only thing that scares me here is possibly a sub for C in the first round, using his grappling and getting that rear naked. And you can probably cover your bases on that as a hedge and take Amar C by sub plus 140. That's the most likely outcome. Menifield never being subbed before. I'd probably take that Amar C in round 2 to start around minus 150. Probably my lean for value on this fight, even though I don't love the bet. You're getting minus 700 fighter at minus 150 just the last 5 minutes with a guy who's never been submitted. We shall see. Then we got Mansur Abdul-Malik, same odds here against Cody Brundage, and I think these are a little bit wide too. Brundage gets himself into these brawls, and although I do think he gets finished pretty early here, he does square up. He does accept these brawls and accept fighting whoever is on his slate, and I respect him for that. But Mansur Abdul-Malik's power, I think, is way too much for him. I think he's gonna finish Brundage relatively early, within the first 2 rounds, probably within the first round. You see Abdul-Malik, if you're looking at over under is 1.5. If you're looking at the alt round betting, Abdul-Malik round 1 or 2 minus 270. Probably rather the under 1.5 there. Maybe round 3. What's round 3 not to start? Minus 370. Under 1.5 probably my play there. Or you can take Mansur Abdul-Malik by knockout at minus 350. Wow. That's ridiculous. So, maybe a takedown prop. They have some high odds. I think like around plus 300 for a Brundage takedown. Or even on the other side, Abdul-Malik takedown. Someone can get slammed. But I think Brundage is getting finished pretty early in this one. So under 1.5 probably going to be my favorite play. I'm going to take Mansur Abdul-Malik by knockout as my official pick. And in the last bet, I don't think I said my official prediction. The last 2. Bellato by knockout was my official one. And C by knockout, probably. TKO. Ground and pound. So we'll move on to the next bout. We got Randy Barcelos and Cody Garbrandt. Blast from the past for both of these guys. And Cody Garbrandt comes in here as a dog, plus 170. Barcelos upwards of minus 200 now. And probably has it gotten worse? Yeah, I see Barcelos on here at least on FanDuel at minus 215. So the juice is spreading to him. Fading Cody Garbrandt is probably a smart idea in this case, and I will be doing it too. I think Randy Barcelos gets it done here. I think this will be after the first round too. I think Cody Garbrandt, despite his glass chin, it's going to be a waiting game in the first round, and Randy Barcelos is probably going to try to get to his wrestling. So if you're looking at the same type of play with an over round prop on DraftKings, you take Randy Barcelos, and then you get him at pick'em odds at minus 110 for round 2 to start. So Randy Barcelos on DraftKings over 299.5 seconds, so 5 minutes. So it actually doesn't have to even start round 2. He can get finished, or he can not come off the stool and it'll still hit. But yeah, Randy Barcelos in over 299.5 seconds at minus 110 is probably my favorite play. I think he gets it done by probably TKO. I wouldn't be surprised at any of the methods here, though. I think that these guys, even though it should probably end up not going the distance historically by the numbers, I think this one might go to the judges, and Randy Barcelos is who I'm gonna lean with, being able to employ his grappling and land more damaging strikes to hurt Cody Garbrandt. Although Cody will be brawling in this one, that's for sure. Without further ado, though, we'll keep it going with Edmund Shahbazyan and Andre Petroski, and we have an interesting spot here because Edmund, after the first round, what is going to happen in this fight if it leaves the first round? Because you're looking at Edmund Shahbazyan minus 425 for first round only money line, finish only money line minus 360. Although I don't think this fight goes the distance, Armand Petroski is more alive, under 1.5 at plus 115 around there, plus 120. I like the under 2.5 here. Maybe as a safer play. Let's see what I can get that at. You're getting that at around minus 180. So I like that as a parlay piece, under 2.5. Still relatively playable there. With one more leg, you're getting over plus money for sure. So nothing that really worries me about that. I think Shahbazyan should find the chin Petroski, but Petroski's going to wrestle. If he doesn't play around, which I don't think he will, he's going to wrestle Shahbazyan. I don't think Shahbazyan's grappling is any tier that's going to affect Andre Petroski. I think Petroski is very live for a finish here, too, which is why I'm going to like that under 2.5. I don't really want to mess around with a side here. I'm going to lean... Probably going to lean with Edmund Shahbazyan, because I think this line's a little bit closer because of Petroski's win over Rodolfo Vieira. That's because it was two grapplers canceling each other out. And a lot of people thought Rodolfo Vieira was going to win that. So, probably rock with Shahbazyan as my lean. The odds are still relatively close. Minus 175 is probably playable for Shahbazyan if you want to go about that route. That or the under. I don't think this one's going the distance. That's not Shahbazyan's style. So, I'll take Edmund Shahbazyan by knockout. Although I would not be even in the slightest bit surprised if Andre Petroski came out here and subbed him relatively easily. Because these odds they're close, but I don't know. Well, I'll take Shahbazyan there. We'll go to the co-main event of the night. We got Thug Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Nice co-main event here. And I'm probably going to go Rose Namajunas here. I think that she's going to have the way crisper striking and going to be able to get to her game and really hurt Miranda Maverick. Watching film somewhat recently for the Mannion for Rowe fight, made me realize Rose Namajunas is tough. She's extremely tough. And against a girl like Miranda Maverick, who's probably going to employ a lot of pressure, I don't think Miranda Maverick's going to be able to tough her out of there. I'm just looking at Miranda Maverick's previous bouts, recently at least, and the Jamie Lynn Horth decision is kind of impressive. Dion Barbosa, impressive, especially with her jiu-jitsu pedigree. So she's gonna be safe within realistic capacity there. Priscilla Cochiera. These are nice wins. Jasmine Jasudavicius, she lost to Blanchfield. She lost to Macy Barber. That win against Jillian Robinson stand out to me, even though we're getting back on the ears there. I think she could employ some type of pressure and make this fight closer than it looks. So, maybe a Miranda Maverick. Is this 5 rounds? This is only 3 rounds. Oh, wow. I think, this is probably going the distance. Minus 540. Jesus. Miranda Maverick plus 3.5 seems like the play to be made. I didn't see this line until right now. Rose Namajunas is most likely going to win this fight, but Miranda Maverick can steal a round off the grappling. Rose Namajunas is probably going to tune her up on the feet. I don't know if she gets the finish there. I don't think she's gonna. Yeah. I'm just looking right now. Yeah, I think that Miranda Maverick's more than open to win around here. Plus 3.5 at minus 150 is probably my favorite play there. Although I will lean Rose Namajunas by decision. I think her striking will win her 2 rounds, but I'm not paying the minus 300 or minus 220 or whatever compared to a +3.5, where I think Miranda Mavericks makes this fight closer than a lot of people think. I think she will get Atlas on the feet, but Atlas stays on the feet. Get over to the main event here. Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. And it's tough because Usman, it looked great in his last bout, even though that was before the layoff. His knees are disintegrated, though. He's on his way out. He's about 40 years old. Then we got Buckley on the up and coming radar, with a win over Colby Covington, who fought Kamaru really close. And he's just younger, but he gets sloppy at times. He's not the most safe fighter. And Kamaru's, I don't know if he's done yet. I will take Buckley as probably my favorite, or as my lean. But Buckley, 5 rounds. I don't know if Kamaru got the 5 rounds in him no more. I don't know. I think Buckley might be able to get the finish here. What's the knockout line looking like? If you're looking at Buckley by knockout, it is +140. Yeah, most likely outcome on the books. It's sad to say, and I don't want to doubt Kamaru Usman, but Father Time catches all. He's coming off the layoff. His knees are done for. Buckley's fresh. They both might gas. I think this might be an under type of fight if you're going to take it. Let me look what those lines are. Under 4.5, that pick 'em. I don't hate that. I think this fight might end because if Buckley gasses, Kamaru Usman is live to do some shit. But I think this might be it for Kamaru. I think Buckley might get the W here by knockout. Sad to say, and I don't know if I'm going to bet on it just out of respect. It's like the whole Izzy thing with him getting finished by Imavov. Even with tape telling me Imavov was the play, my heart got in front of it, and I won't let that happen again. So I'll probably take Buckley by knockout. But I'll probably take under 4.5 just to be more respectable to Kamaru Usman and his legacy. But if we're looking at dog of the night opportunities, I'm taking a look now. And the real dog opportunity that you want to look for, Petroski, Cody Garbrandt. Even though I think he wins, or I think he loses, I would not be surprised. So Cody Garbrandt's an opportunity there. I don't want to know. No. Paul Craig by sub. Court McGee might be a live dog. Cody Durden might be a live dog against the rear young Jose Ochoa. And Phil Rowe might be a live dog. So there's a couple underdogs here that you can easily sway on. There's fights here that even though my prediction might go one way, it's not more than like a 50%. Like it could be a 50-50 shot, and I'm just giving it for the sake. And I'm not telling you to bet every prediction that I have. It's predictions first, betting picks after. But there's a couple dogs in this card that could really realistically be dog of the night. Phil Rowe, probably my favorite. Court McGee's a sneaky one though. I'm not too sold on my Chiesa. I think I have to get into the film room and watch some more film after this to really dial in. But the plays will be in the Fade Factory Discord. We're gonna have the link in the bio, as usual. I appreciate the support, and I hope everyone hits their bets. We're gonna have parlays, and there's already picks for PFL, which is tonight, in the Discord in our Gems section. Like I said before, $10 a month, $25 for 3 months, and that's a bunch of different promotions. And you're getting our top plays with all these reads. We're answering on your questions at your whim. Like you're just asking at any time. We'll be there. One of us will be able to answer and explain to you why we read this way or why we read another way. We're all doing the tape study. And I think that we're building a great community here, and I'm glad for you guys to be a part of it, and I appreciate it. So with that being said, I'll just head on out. Moneyline Mike by himself here. We'll have the rest of the crew back next week or next card, and we'll catch ya. Let's cash out, boys.
See Mitchell took the center. He uses that separation to perfectly time that knee. Smiling. He's going to finish the fight.